What's up, guys? Hobo Nichol BBQ back with you again, and I'm probably going to butcher Chris's channel name because I forgot to ask him exactly how to pronounce it because I'm an idiot. So we've got Azrael's Pit Barbecue. Did I pronounce that right, Chris?
That was pretty good. Azrael's Pit Barbecue.
All right, so let's start with this question. How'd you come up with your channel name?
Damn, right off the bat. Well, if you wanted to go straight to the nerd, that was the good question to start with. So this is going to be a bit of a story. This is setting the tone for the night. So my dad was in the Air Force. And so as a kid, I was fascinated with planes and that kind of thing. Some folks may know of it's an AC-130 gunship that's called Azrael. And it was actually made... It really got its fame, I guess, towards the end of Desert Storm. And it's in the United States Air Force Museum there in Dayton, Ohio. So it's Azrael. And Azrael, angel of death, right? So I kind of like that name. And then probably late 90s, get into Xbox gaming and all this kind of stuff. And I came up with had to come up with gamer tag. And I was playing Halo and that kind of stuff and shooters. So I came up with Azrael's Touch, and it's my gamer tag on Xbox to this day. So I was pretty heavy in that stuff. And there are people I know to this day that don't call me Chris. They're, what's up, Az? They know me as Azrael from gaming. Like, these people I know in real life and whatnot. So a few years ago, we decided for a Christmas gift, we were going to make a bunch of rubs and sauces and put them in these really nice baskets and all this kind of stuff. And we had to come up with this branding, right? So I came up with this gag of Azrael's Pit Barbecue, barbecue to die for. And so here it is, and it's kind of funny because when people hear that story, they're going, that's a horrible name. What if somebody were to what if you had a restaurant and somebody died eating Azrael's Pit Barbecue? I was like, truth in advertising. Let's go.
All right. So real quick, I see Quest Hunter at Shack Barbecue has changed his channel name to Lewis at Shack Barbecue. We've got Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue, The Real Joey B, Ken, Heavy Metal Barbecue. Science in Our Universe says, please call my name Scientist Asim Yash. I have no idea. I was hoping that it was somebody you knew. We got Cooking Green Bastard Style, Johnny Texas Style Cuisine, Barlow Barbecue, Kent Vanderweerd hopped in here for a second, and Scott in for the grill, and Amy Culpepper, who I believe is your significant other.
That would be correct.
JRS BT, and if I missed you, I missed you. Type below. River City Barbecue, Keith Batag, and on with more questions. So where are you from?
I live in Franklin, Tennessee, just southwest outside of Nashville.
Okay. Outdoor Cooking with Al hopped on. I know this is kind of junky. I keep hopping around. I have ADD. Deal with it. All right. Family life, wife, kids, dog, chinchilla.
Yeah, all those things. So except the chinchilla. So like you said, like I told you earlier, we're kind of the same scenario that you are, Amy. For all intents and purposes, my wife, not legally married, been together forever though. She has 2 kids. Aaron, who's 19, and Jess graduated from Paris Island Marine Boot Camp. So he's actually here this week. We just went over there last week to see the graduation and everything. And it was just, man, that's a whole story on its own. It was phenomenal. Then Emily is her 18-year-old daughter. She's a senior in high school, graduates this May, honor student, smart kid. Got 2 dogs, a cat, and I guess that's it for the pets right now. It used to be a zoo around here, but thankfully nature's taken its course.
All right, we got Lyle No Hippie Barbecue and Cooking, not Cookie.
Semper Fi.
Says Semper Fi, and I'm going to say from me, and I know at least most of the group, if not all the group's going to say, tell him thank you for his service.
I tell you what, we'll bring him down here later. Let him say hi.
Okie dokie. All right. So what made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
I don't know.
This is going to be the greatest episode of all time.
So, man, I'm a pretty hardcore nerd, and when I get into something, I go all the way. The joke is that everybody's like, you know, Chris's method of things is, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. And so when it came to the cooking and stuff, I've been doing this for years, and it's gotten, I guess, I don't know, 5 years ago, made some changes, and things just all of a sudden, what I was doing was, you know, this is good stuff. And I actually had some people say, man, you should make YouTube. Man, have you seen YouTube videos? I'm like, I watch YouTube all the time. And just throw a camera up and try it and see what happens, right? Versus everybody knows nothing happened. I mean, you know, you put a video up, you think like, hey, I'm instant YouTube star. You ain't shit. And a year later, you're going, what am I doing, man? So anyways, I started looking at a lot of channels, just banging out randomly and looking and seeing what people were doing. And I found that as much stuff is out there, there was very little folks actually really approaching it from an actual education standpoint. And since I'm kind of so nerdy and I study and, you know, research so much stuff, I was like, you know what? I love sharing knowledge. And to me, YouTube is just, of all the social media stuff, YouTube to me is just so fantastic. And there's so much information and everybody's sharing stuff. And if you get rid of all the junk, it's just phenomenal. And I thought, well, maybe where I can sit here comfortably would be doing more of an education thing. It's one thing to say, here's the steps, A, B, C, D. Oh, by the way, here's why you're doing this. And so that's what I've tried to strive for slowly in one little video at a time. And of course, my videos end up being longer because of that. So it just, you know, just kind of finding your way and seeing what's what. But that's kind of how it all evolved to where we are now, I guess.
So this is what I decided today is I got my list of standard questions, and then I've got my list of questions in my head that I think you're going to completely nerd out on and give very good long answers to. And I'm going to try to intermix them.
All right.
So my first nerd out question is, so anybody that's not familiar with Chris's channel, he's got a chicken video, and then he's got a follow-up to the chicken video. So,
oh yeah, man.
Why don't you give people the 35,000 foot view explanation of the two videos without completely ruining the videos, for lack of better words?
Sure. So we did a spatchcock video, and I actually love that video. And I got some comments where people were suggesting the chicken wasn't cooked properly. And you know, as YouTube channel and content creators, we have an option to kind of how do we respond when you get some kind of negative comment, especially a negative comment that doesn't have anything backing it up to, you know, hey, let's have this conversation. I'm just going to drop this bleh of negative comment and walk away. And I'm like, I'm not having that shit because their comments were incorrect. So instead of really commenting back, I was like, you know, we're going to make a video response. And so we did an entire video based on those few comments to educate about the doneness of chicken and talking about the conventional wisdom of clear juices and that kind of stuff. And then that led to us doing the giveaway on thermopops and that kind of stuff, just because I'm like, hey, if you really want to do this, here's a tool, and I'm going to give it to you so you can make sure your chicken's right. But it was ultimately, to me, it was like here is my way of completely shutting this conversation down before it even has a chance to get started. And then further to that, maybe teach some people some stuff. And I had to learn some things to make that video. And oddly enough, I don't know where the count is on that video right now, but the last time I looked, it was over 15,000 views, and most of my videos are like -5. So I just about fell out on that. It's hilarious. So it's interesting. It's but on the same note, nobody's watching that whole video because my average watch time is like 6 minutes.
Right.
So hopefully that's the best condensed version I can give you.
All right. So Lewis wants to know what is behind my curtain, because Amy answered your curtain, and my curtain, Johnny wants me to show, is the cinder block wall. It's not exciting. We may take the curtain down and just call it Dungeon Barbecue, as somebody suggested before. All right. Some of these questions I don't want to ask you. I want to skip around. So who taught you how to cook?
I can't say anybody actually taught me to cook. I mean, it was just kind of more of it began as a bit of a necessity. When I was younger, my, single mom, and she worked in 2 jobs at some point in times. And it was kind of hey, go figure out how to make a box of macaroni and cheese. And then it just kind of went from there.
Gotcha. All right. So you left a comment on my 4-binder, 4 different pork butt rub that said, ask me about this in the hot seat because I don't want to leave a book. So
I love
you
that.
got free reign for the next 25 minutes. I'm cutting you off then.
I thought about it and I can make this short. First off, I love that video. I love that you did that comparison. When it comes to things like that, at the end of the day, it's one of those personal preference things. It doesn't really matter, whatever you want to use. But purely from the science side of cooking, that your results were exactly what I expected. As soon as I saw what you were doing, I'm like, all right, place your bets. Here's what I think is going to happen. So the reason why I didn't comment more deeply into it is I don't know. I was afraid I was going to get too wordy, but I think I've got a way to shorten it up. So regarding the mayonnaise, I'd never even heard of that, but we'll come back to the mayo. The mustard side, a lot of people, man, that's a thing. People swear by that mustard. And I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, what is mustard really? If you really like the flavor of mustard, then just bang some, grind up some mustard seed or get you some powdered mustard and put it in your rub, because by the time this stuff, there's some vinegar in there, water in there, some other odds and ends, but ultimately that's it. How much of that actually evaps off, and then if you were to take some mustard and stick it in the oven, see what's left, right? But more importantly, and why the test results were the way they were, is with that mustard slathered on there, you've got your meat that already, cold meat's gone on the pit. It's already got a thin, cold barrier layer of its, from its own coldness, right? So it's got a cloud around it. Your smoke comes in, there's, at a micro level anyways, there's turbulence and that kind of stuff keeps the smoke away. You put your seasoning on. This is one of the reasons why using a more coarse seasoning is better than a fine seasoning as an outer rub, is it breaks up that outer surface. It makes it a little bit more irregular, gives something for that smoke to kind of stick to. Likewise, wet meat is better than, cold wet is better for smoke. You slather mustard, or worse yet, that thick mayo, you are now putting a definitive layer of something between your meat where it needs to interact with those molecules coming off of that smoke to ultimately help form that smoke ring. I mean, go look at my Instagram and go look at some pictures and check out my smoke rings. People are like, how in the hell do you do that? And I was like, for one thing, I don't slather mustard all over my stuff. But that said, if that's what you dig, that's what you dig. It's not a problem. It's not a matter of right and wrong, but you absolutely busted out a very valid scientific test. And I was thrilled to see that.
You know me, my channel's all about science and real intelligent stuff. I actually had somebody make I don't know if it might have been on Instagram, that said, hey, I just started following your channel. This was a really awesome video. And no, it was on Twitter. And I'm like, hey, you need to understand, this isn't what I normally do by any means.
I thought it was great.
Actually, I think the mayonnaise came up. I was talking to Barlow and Everyday Barbecue, and I'm like, for some reason, it was like, my initial intent was to go to Restaurant Depot, and when you buy pork butts there, they're 2 8 to 10 pound pork butts cryovac, and I'm like, well, I
Yeah.
want to do, mustard, olive oil, and nothing, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna have another quarter of a butt left. What do I do with it? And I'm like, so then I seen somebody had put mayonnaise on ribs or something, and that's where that idea came from. So I was like, but then I ended up going to my grocery store and finding that I could get some sections that were already cut off that were like 3.5 pounds. So that's how that ended up being what it was.
Awesome. Hey, I'm going to do a quick shout. I just glanced over at the chat and I see my good friend Tony has jumped in here. Tony, that's so awesome you're here, man. I'm glad you're here.
So real
Tony
quick,
Steinmetz.
We got Christie's Cooking Channel showed up. Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin, who, if I don't do this right now, I will forget. Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin wants to know what your favorite music and bands are.
Yeah. All right. This is going to be a super short answer because Ken Heavy Metal BBQ tagged me on that music tag, and I just hadn't had a chance to do it yet, but I can't wait to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll keep it short. Man, I dig. It is easier to say what I don't listen to, which is I don't like a whole lot of country music and that kind of stuff, but just about anything else is fair game. If I've been cooking today, so got my Pandora running, and I've got just stations stacked up, and 1 minute it's Journey, and the next minute it's Metallica, and the next minute it's Eminem, next minute it's Snoop Dogg, next minute it's Dave Matthews Band, and I'm just kind of all over the place. I listen to everything. Just depends on the mood and what I'm doing. Like if I'm shooting pool, I love to listen to Spanish guitar. Yeah. But I'm going to do a very in-depth, as one would expect, on that music tag. And I'm going to educate some fools on hip hop. Thank you.
So that's what's funny is I don't remember who tagged me in that. I'm getting some kind of weird reverb. I don't know if it's coming through your side or what it is.
Let me turn my mic down just a smidge.
Is anybody in the chat hearing that? It's weird that it just popped. Now it's gone. All right. So real quick before I forget, I know I just jumped around. Who just hopped on here? Christie's Cooking Channel, Phil and Florence, Tony Steinmetz. I think that's it. I think I've caught up with everybody.
Hey, is Ken on here?
Heavy Metal BBQ?
Yeah, I didn't see.
Yeah, he posted up earlier, like at the very beginning. I'm assuming he's still on.
All right, what's up, brother?
Franken in what state? I think Double J Barbecue missed what state you live in.
Oh, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville.
Amy is like on the chat. She had it TN put up there before you even talked.
Wow.
All right.
Right on.
So let's talk about barbecue cookers. What do you got?
I have a Lang 36 hybrid runabout, and I have a Weber Smoky Mountain, and I got a Weber kettle.
Cool. Robert Roy just hopped on. And Heavy Metal BBQ is still here. And Bologna Ring Ranch. Jeff,
hey, let me say something. While we're sitting, I'm looking at the chat. So Junior SVT, I got to give him a shout out. So he's a subscriber to my channel. He's retired Marine. He was in for 10, and he does some other stuff now. He was as a logistics, like I won't say what he does, but anyways, he was in Kuwait and was subscribed to my channel. And we had a little bit of back and forth, and then he's come home, and man, that cat and his wife drove a couple of hours from where they live in Georgia and met us the day of Aaron's graduation last Friday and attended his graduation as becoming a Marine. Man, that was just the coolest freaking thing ever. We got to meet him, and it was like, we got to go. We only got to talk to him for a few minutes, really. But he and his wife came out, 4-hour round trip, man, to come support, our son. So, Mitch, that was awesome, dude. Just want to let you know you've made a friend for life.
Mitch, I agree. And again, thank you for your service. Does Mitch make videos or does he just watch?
I don't think Mitch makes videos right now, but man, he had himself a Lang 48 while he was in Kuwait. He came home to a whole setup of cooking stuff. I don't see why Mitch couldn't make videos one day.
Mitch, I tell you what, you start making videos, send me a message. We'll get you on here.
Super cool guy though, and his wife was awesome. That's just the coolest thing ever. I can't say enough for that.
All right, so what's a weekday meal look like at your house?
Well, this week doesn't count. Man, we've been cooking this week. Woo. Typical. We cook a lot. Amy handles a lot of the cooking during the week. We kind of sometimes we trade off on stuff, depends on what we're doing, but it almost 90% of the time is there's a grill involved. She'll go out and fire up the grill. One of the big challenges for me when I first moved out here was to get her off of her gas grill. I have succeeded that. The gas grill does not exist up here anymore. She goes out and lights coals. However, I have told her when I have the money to do it, I am actually going to buy her a very, a nice pellet for her to just have that gas grill convenience, but yeah, she goes out, lights coals and goes. And we've kind of had to have that whole proof of concept. You go cook some steaks on your gas grill. I'm going to come over here and cook my steaks on this Weber or whatever, and we'll see what's up. Now she's just like me. She can't stand stuff off gas grills. Even at restaurants, we're both like, man, I got the gas turned up too much, so it's good. And Amy cooks a lot, and she and I have kind of gone down the journey of cooking a bit more natural together. So it's upped her game as well. And she does everything with me. She does everything short of actually cut wood and run the pit. So, I mean, she pretty much does that. So, steaks, chicken, fish, whatever. Sometimes we'll do pasta. And man, here at our house, pasta may be a quickie, get a thing of pasta and a jar of sauce. She doctors up, or it could be, well, I've got some Italian sausage I made that's in here. Let's go get that. And let's make sauce from the ground up. And if you really catch me on a good day, I'll make the pasta. So it varies, but we try to have home cooked meals at, 5 out of 7 days of the week, if we can, and actually have everybody sit down at dinner, have a dinner table type conversation, and eat healthy for at least a minute.
Right. All right. So real quick, Mike Everyday Barbecue hopped on like 10 minutes ago, but I didn't get an opportunity to call him out. Scooter Too Cool. Marion, I think I said you, but I can't remember. And that's it. All right. So
tell Christy I said I agree. Well, she can hear me. Yes, Christy, I agree.
Christy, he agrees.
He agrees. I totally agree.
Texas style cuisine, Chef Johnny. I 100% agree with that. It's I don't like cooking with gas, period, and that's why I was kind of like, I'll consider the pellet for that convenience, because especially in the winter, it's sometimes but I ain't saying nothing because I've seen what you did in the winter. So
yeah, but winter for Johnny is a completely different winter than the rest of the world.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. What winter is he got going on in Texas?
That's funny. I actually just set my GoPro out on top of my Humphreys Down East Beast to do some, what do they call it, B-roll footage, because it started snowing here tonight. We're supposed to get 2 inches, and I intended on making videos tomorrow, but well, hell, I've made snow videos before. It doesn't matter.
Right. Favorite fast food place? I just saw.
So Mr. Mega Fred. So real quick before I forget, here soon, YouTube is now figured out a way to keep the live chat during the video when it replays for people who don't watch it live. They have figured out a way to make it, and it will show up on the screen. I, as a creator, have the option to turn that on or off. And as things get somewhat interesting sometimes in the live chat, I will never have that on there. So I know you guys will probably hear people talk about this in the future, but understand you're still free to act like jackasses as much as you want. It'll never be seen in real life. All right, so Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin asked, what's your favorite fast food restaurant?
Oh crap.
That should be the least hardest question that I ask you, at least in the bottom 10.
Yeah, fast food is kind of
I stumped him.
I don't know, man. I guess I'll go with what I would have said 5 years ago, which is Hardee's. Thick burgers. I like Hardee's thick burgers.
All right, Cast Iron Barbecue hopped on. There's all types of shit going on in the chat about what you got against propane, and I was actually going to ask you a follow-up question on that anyways. So, as food sciencey nerd out as you can, let's talk about the difference between, we'll go with conventional wood, charcoal, pellets, and propane. And if I missed something in there that I'm not aware of, like coconut shells or something you want to jump into, have at it.
All right, so I'll give you, man, you're in trouble. So I've been asked to do videos on temperature control and fire management and all this kind of stuff. And I've given it a lot of thought. And so one of the things we're going to do is I'm going to try to kick off a barbecue 101 series. In order to do this series, I'm actually going to have to learn how to cook with coal again, because I spent years cooking with coal badly and did every mistake in the book. So, but if you look at it from the gamut of things across the board, you got your electric, so your electric smoker, right? Then you can go from there. We'll throw the gas in there. You throw your pellet in there, and then work your way up from there. It all comes down to, at the end of the day, combustion. It's all about the combustion.
I'm so glad that you were having this conversation, because I love this topic.
It's all about the combustion. So, for example, so you got your electric, and you got a heat source, and you can put some chips or whatever and get your smoke, but you do not have combustion. And because you do not have combustion, and I know people swear by their electric smokers, and if that's what you use, that's fine. But from a science of barbecue standpoint, you're not getting the right smoke. You're getting a smoldering smoke. You're not getting a nice clean smoke. So step up from there. Gas. Again, you've got a heat source, and technically there is combustion, but what are you doing with your wood chips? They're usually sitting in a little box, and they're sitting over here, and they're not actually combusting, so they're smoldering. It's the same thing as the electric smoker at the end of the day, right? I'm not going to actually watch the feed over here, because I'll probably really piss somebody off.
Don't worry, I'm keeping notes.
Now then go to a pellet. A pellet, you actually do get combustion. It's not quite the same as burning wood, but it's better than smoldering chips off in that box or whatever in the electric. Charcoal is a little different, and you got to differentiate between briquettes versus your lump, real good lump charcoal. In those instances, you are getting combustion, but you're not getting active flame necessarily. So the science gets a little tighter and righter there, but what's happening is there's larger things and the stuff that makes for dirty smoke not getting consumed in a live fire. So when you cook with wood and you've got a wood fire running properly, you shouldn't have very much smoke, actual visible smoke coming out of your stack. And you're running a good, clean stack. Go look at Ken's videos, Heavy Metal Barbecue videos about his clean burn baskets and that kind of thing. Forget about what he's doing and everything else. But when he takes that shot of that stack and it looks almost clear, that is a perfect stack. And people come over to my house and like, I thought you were smoking meat. And I'm like, yeah, there's no smoke coming out of your pit. Well, that's because my fire is running right.
Yeah,
but ultimately, if you've never had it, you don't know. If you've never done it, you don't know. But at the end of the day, there is a significant difference. We could all get the same meat, same seasoning, same whatever, and line up these cookers and cook the same thing. I guarantee you, the one that comes off the properly run stick burner is going to be the best. It'll have the cleanest. It'll have a smoky flavor. Nobody's getting indigestion off of it. It's just good and clean. But it's a lot of work. It is more work to run a cooker like that. So it's not for everybody. Was that a good enough answer?
That was a great answer. You got I see, I might have missed some hate, but I see absolutely no hate in the chat. Booger and Robert Roy are sitting, are now cuddling up on a couch because they're in the propane world.
Hey, that is fine. I ride motorcycles, right? And so I used to ride a Yamaha with a bunch of people with Harleys. And, you know, the Harley guys would kind of give you shit about your rice, you know. Then I got a Victory. Amy she rides her own. And so she was on a Harley. I'm on a Victory. And then she got off. She rode my Victory. She was on a Street Glide, rode my Victory, discovered how much more awesome it was, traded her Harley in. She got a Victory. And now we got these Victories. And you sit around and get around these Harley people, and they still the Harley people kind of come over and they want to look and everything else. And it's like, hey, man, just get on and ride one. But at the end of the day, dude, we're riding. I don't care what you're on. And it's the same thing with the cooking. If you're digging what you're doing and you dig what it tastes like, and your friends and family think you're the rock star hero of barbecue world, then do that shit.
I mean, there's a lot of truth in that, you know. So I spend a lot of time on forums, YouTube, watching videos, etc. And just like the 4-binder video, I've had people make comments, and, you know, I was kind of afraid to put that video out there. I kind of assumed what the results would be, but I'm not smart like you. And when I came up with it, and I'm going, fuck, they all taste the same. The only difference I could tell is the smoke ring and tube between the other two. And I was kind of like, I'm going to get a whole bunch of fucking hate mail for this because, you know, like one comment the guy put, and I don't remember who it was. It wasn't somebody that I'd ever seen before, said, I use mustard. You know why? Because my dad used mustard. And I commented back. I said, it's just like being at work. You know why we do this? Because that's the way we've always done it.
Sure. I saw so Tony Steinmetz, he's got a Can-Am. And yes, hey Tony, power to you, brother. I ride your ride and ride your Can-Am, and you know, dude, you can pull your big wheel right up next to us, man. We'll ride with you any day.
Is that one of the doodads with the 2 tires in the front and the one in the back?
Yeah, I call it a big wheel.
Oh, all right. So what's the favorite video you've made to date and why?
Favorite video I've made to date and why? I would have said the spatchcock chicken video simply because that was just funny. I think the follow up to it, but I think right now the chili video we recently put up is kind of my favorite, and I think the reason why it's my favorite is I've not spent more time on a video and thought of how to make that video than that one. I can't even tell you what kind of response it's gotten. I've got some, a little bit of feedback from it, but from the effort that was put into that video, I felt like it came out really well. I conveyed what I wanted to convey. It wasn't any longer than any of my other videos, but man, I stressed on how to make that video and in my typical style. Because when I make a video, a lot of times I'm doing such and such cook, and I'm making the video with that cook going on, and everything has a rhythm to it and it makes sense. Well, that chili cook it's a little it gets complex, and there's a lot of variables, and I'm like, man, I've got to figure out a way to tell people how to do this that aren't going to have grinders and aren't going to be able to do this and aren't going to be that. I'm trying to figure out. So we ultimately, it took 3 times to make that stupid video, and I finally said, all right, screw it, we're going to make chili. We're filming the whole thing, and we ain't saying shit. Just film it. Just get the footage. And then come back with that footage and then go in, and the audio's a little weird because I did all the talk stuff was all done after the fact and voiceover stuff. And I had a mic in my office and did part of it sitting here at my desk.
So it kind of sounds like this, and you're all on the radio.
And then I'm in there, and it's up in the air in the kitchen, and it sounds like this. It's all out. And I'm sitting there trying to get this shit balanced out. And I was like, I'm not putting this up. I'm not putting this damn thing up. And so finally we got it to where I felt like it made sense, and it was, so I'm proud of it because of the just amount of effort and everything that we had to do to make that. And I hope people dig it. I hope people try to make that recipe and just give it a shot. And more importantly, do it and then comment later or something, because I want to hear about what they did and how they liked it or what they may have changed.
All right, so Ken asked a question, but I'm going to skip it for just a quick moment because Lewis at Our Shack Barbecue is asking, do beans go in chili? And I kind of have to put those two together and make you, whichever way you answer, you're not going to win. So what's your answer?
I put beans in my chili. Watch the video.
Folks. The answer is yes. All right, so Ken Heavy Metal Barbecue wants to know, ask Chris what his dream pit is.
Ooh. So that's a good question. You've asked this
balls around here.
you've asked it. I haven't heard you ask this question in a while. I think the way you worded it before was, what pit would you get if you had, if money wasn't an issue? So I've got a Lang 36 now. I am currently actively, and for about 2 years now, have been trying to save up the money to get a Lang 60 I need to get them to make a custom trailer. I want a wider trailer. Right, but if I really had if I had the money to do it, I would go to East Texas Smoker Company and get a custom pit made by them. Like a tandem trailer, not some monster catering pit, but a pretty good sized pit that I could at least do a 7,500 pound hog on, with a Santa Maria a grill, integrated into it, and some other odds and ends, and a place for hauling wood and that kind of stuff. I'd go to East Texas Smoker Company and have them build me one if I could.
All right, so real quick, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
All right, Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin says, hey, have you ever heard of Bull Taco dirt bikes from the 70s?
Have I heard of who?
Bull Taco dirt bikes.
Bull Taco dirt bikes.
Bull like the male cow.
Bull. Is he saying Buell?
Well, he spelled it with like the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, he did. Bull. I see it now. Bull Taco. No, I have not.
All right. Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue says, wonder if bourbon would make a nice binder. All right. I want to ask you on this, and maybe you're not prepared, because who would be prepared for this question? I understand cooking with alcohol, and I seen somebody at one point in my life on a forum talked about like injecting bourbon into brisket or something like that. You have any thought process on? I had read people making comments like, hey, the alcohol is going to cause it to dry out, blah, 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 blah. I'm not smart enough to know what's right or wrong or even have a thought on it.
I don't know about the alcohol causing it to dry out. I mean, a lot of that's going to somewhat cook out, and then you're left behind with some of the sugars. I don't actually know what would happen. Be happy to try it and find out. I got some Kentucky bourbon in here.
All right, Al, cook it.
That's an interesting question, though.
I'll tell you what. Well, why don't we collaborate? Because I've got, I don't know, a couple hundred bottles of bourbon here in the basement. Literally, I'm not making that up. All different brands, but that would be a fun type thing to do.
Yeah, let's do it.
He's asking about a binder, but we can probably work out. We'll figure that out later. Al's asking where you're from. He hopped on late. He's from Tennessee, not Texas. Blah. I'm like really behind on the chat.
I don't do a whole lot of cooking. While you're looking that up, I don't do a whole lot of cooking with alcohol in general. I do make a bourbon kind of bourbon barbecue bean little thing from time to time. But I have to agree. Drink the bourbon, cook the meat. But I am all for giving that a shot. Although I'm not going to use like my really nice bourbon. I'll go buy some cheap bourbon.
Right. I don't know what order this is in. JRS is it Junior SVT or is it JRSVT? Anyway.
I'm calling it. I call it Junior SVT. Mitch can correct if I'm wrong, but Junior SVT since he's got the J little R.
He wants to know what your next video is going to be.
My next video?
Yes. Nobody gives a shit about me. This is all about you.
That's a good question, and I would like to get the chat's opinion on this. I would actually like the chat's opinion on this since a lot of these people actually have channels. So we went, and if you've seen my introduction video that I did where I did the vlog interview, or not interview, I did the little vlog, hey, here's about me. I had mentioned that we kill hogs every year and get our own pork. This year we did we videoed the entire process from the farm and all the country farm stuff that you do in that sense, and then we brought all the meat home and are breaking it down and what we were doing, and then our making of bacon and all that kind of stuff. And I thought about putting up this series and doing that very tastefully, of course, and taking in being in consideration we won't actually show video of the pig getting shot and stuck and that kind of stuff. But I was thinking about putting that up as part of the new Beyond the Pit series, just kind of a thing. And I've gotten some kind of squiggy feedback from folks when I've thought about doing that. So I don't really know. I've got all this footage, and I can still do it. I can do the video. I can do the bacon, making our bacon. I can do that stuff and everything else. I just thought people would be interested in seeing, like, hey, we went down on the farm and this is what we did, and try to make it tasteful. Go through the whole steps, because I'm talking this is old country hog killing, like they used to do 100, 200 years ago kind of thing. I just thought it would be an interest topic, but people are so sensitive and wishy-washy these days that might not be a good idea. So that's what I was planning on doing next. And then I've got to start making some sausage videos. Now that I have a freezer full of fresh pork, I can start making sausage again. We've been out for a while, so I'm going to start doing some of that.
It's funny you bring that up, because I'm trying to literally scroll. Here's my problem. I'm subscribed to about 300 YouTubers.
Right.
I'm trying to remember somebody's channel name. I know that it's something Ranch Barbecue or something like that, but they actually did a video where they put it up as whatever it is, like must be 18 to watch, whatever the hell that's called.
Sure.
And so they actually have a farm, and they actually butchered a pig, like from here's the pig gets shot. Can't say shot. Yep. When I say shot, I meant he was massaged. YouTube, don't like channel strike me or whatever the fuck you guys do. But then that video has been up for like a year. It's one of their first videos, and within like 2 or 3 weeks ago, they got a big channel strike. They lost live streaming, all types of penalties and stuff, and it's since been waived, but it was like a big chaotic thing. And just giving you a heads up that I don't know where the line is, because now YouTube said bad juju, and then they said, well, no, it's not bad juju.
Well, I can save it for the channels, big, small, little channels. But there's a YouTube channel I watch that's out of the UK, and it's the guy who runs it is an actual butcher. And so I've never seen him do anything where he was doing a live, kind of farm to table thing, but he does a lot of the butchering stuff. So I could not do the farm side of it, but as far as I'm concerned, that's the most fascinating part.
That was the thing that they had made the point during I've not watched the video where they shoot the pig, for lack of better words, but they made the point, we did this to show people how to humanely do it.
Absolutely.
Without the animal suffering, and we're getting penalized for doing that. And I can see kind of both sides of it, arguably, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that, I wanted to share it. I get the sensitivity to it, and I understand that not all people realize or want to be confronted with where that meat comes from. I get it, but I thought maybe an idea would be to take that. It was going to be a 3-part series, so maybe I make that particular video. Maybe I make it private. Maybe I say, hey, I've got this video, let the groups know. And if somebody requests specifically, they want to see it, send them the link. And then maybe it's not just out there. Maybe that's a way to go. I don't know.
So Lewis says the channel's called Crouch Ranch. Just to give you guys some background information, his wife is typically in a bikini most of the time. Just giving you guys a PG-13 warning, whatever it is.
Wait, I know what channel you're talking about now.
She's a very good-looking woman, lots of tattoos. He is a guy that I would sit there and go, oh, these two don't match each other very well, because he kind of comes off as the farmer type, and she comes off as the 25-year-old Hollywood, Las Vegas or Los Angeles girl. It's just a very kind of odd thing.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I know you're talking about now.
All right, I'm really behind in the chat. Scooter Too Cool wants to know, what does he use for butcher knives?
So the short answer is I have a set of Victorinox that I use. And then my in-house kitchen knives are Wusthoffs. And we actually have a relatively recent video on those knives, and we go through all of them.
All right. If I missed a question, retype it. Real quick, I noticed, I don't know if Phil and Florence is still on here, but I'm seeing this influx in these Santa Maria grills. As somebody who, from my vague interpretation, this is a California West Coast started thing. Explain to me what the purpose of that is. What are we doing here? Because I don't know enough to know.
Ultimately, you're reverse searing. The concept on the Santa Maria is you're getting your meat up off, and you're kind of cooking it slow at a lower temperature. And then when you're ready to raise the temp up, you drop it down, you can go. So it's basically a form of searing the rear. And you can kind of, depend on what your fire is and everything else, that the tri-tip, which is kind of what those are known around, they do cook those out on red oak wood fires and that kind of stuff. And some of the Santa Marias that they have out there are huge, and they're just troughs, and they're awesome. And you'll see some of them, a lot of people will run them with coal, but traditionally it's red oak. And I would have getting back to my little dream pit there would be a Santa Maria. There would be a Santa Maria on that trailer somewhere for sure. I love cooking with a Santa Maria. I had kind of a cheap one, and it kind of fell apart. And so when I saw, I think I saw it on, I guess it was T-Roy Cook's first, but then I saw it on, I saw Phil had gotten one, and I was like, man, I'm not one for buying gadgets and things like that, but I may have to buy that just on principle, because I've been wanting to replace mine anyways. So I saw that and I was like, oh, I may have to get that one.
All right, Ken, I'll ask it just because you did, and I don't have to. The question that you've not been wanting me to ask. 3 channels you watch, 1 big, 1 small, and 1 you think should be much bigger than they currently are.
Is it pee break time?
Well, it wasn't going to be, but since you brought it up, I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, this one's a hard for me, guys. I'm going to say when it comes to big channels, you know, T-Roy Cooks and those guys, of course, Malcolm Reed, of course, Scott Rea, R-E-A. He's out of the UK. I watch his channels a lot. He's a butcher, but he shows you how to not only butcher stuff, he shows you how to cook as well, and sausage making and that kind of thing. Kind of watching his videos is how I kind of learned how to break down hogs and that kind of thing. So those are some of the big ones, but I'm 300 something subscribers now. In October, I was 100 something subscribers. I consider my channel pretty small, though it's growing. So I'm not really sure everything's bigger than me. So I don't know what a small channel would be off the top of my head. I mean, obviously I watch Hobo Nichols videos, and as I've been learning the folks in this group, in the YouTube Cooks group, I've been trying to watch everybody's videos, get a sampling of who's doing what. And even if it's totally something I don't even have any interest in, like, oh, I don't even cook that stuff, I still like watching because I like to see other people's techniques and that kind of stuff. And the fact that there are people in this group that actually are chefs, that's cool. Chef Johnny, I love his channel. Man, there's several sausage videos he has up. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to try that. As for a channel that I think should be bigger, I don't know the answer to that, other than to say, where's Barlow at right now? 1,500 or something. Barlow's channel, when I saw his video on the, is it how do you pronounce it? Poutine? I don't want to miss that one.
Poutine. Cooking channel. It's Poutine.
It was the Poutine, right?
Yes.
Man, I was struggling not to say that wrong. Man, watching that video, that cook, and what, just watching him do that cook, I was just blown away. That was so awesome. So I went back and watched some of his older stuff, watching his, thank you, Booger, and watching his videos and stuff, and I love it. To me, that channel has just got, it has got the magic. It's got clean video, very, very nice. It's just clean the way they do it. And they're calm, and they're so friendly. And I'm like, dude, I want to go hang out in the campfire next to these cats and just shoot the shit with them and watch them make stocks from scratch on a freaking, in a cast iron pot out in a fire ring. I just thought that was, those guys just, I think they're awesome. So I think Barlow should be just huge. I hope there's enough people interested in learning how to cook like that to bang that channel way up there, because I think what they're doing is phenomenal. I was truly just blown away by that particular video.
I completely agree with you. If you guys haven't heard of Barlow Barbecue, which, so it says there's 29 people. I know I'm logged in, Chris is logged in, and Amy's logged in. So that makes 26 if my math is correct. And most everybody on here I know. So J Junior SBT STV, whichever one it is. I'm terrible with names and I can't see it in the chat. And the other guy that's here, go check him out.
Yeah, Junior SVT. So just he does actually have a couple of videos up, but his videos are around his holy crap Mustangs, thus the SVT.
All right, real quick, Double J Barbecue says there's 29 people on and 16 likes. Do 2 things real quick. If you're not subscribed to Chris's channel, there's a link down in the description, because that's what we do around here. Go check it out. Give the guy a chance. Sub him. Don't sub him. Maybe you don't like him. I don't know how the fuck it would, because the guy just dropped more knowledge in the hot seat than I don't know has ever happened.
And just nerdy like that.
And Booger, I got to give you a hard time because if I go by the consensus in the chat, it is not poutine. It is the other thing. Spelled multiple ways. All right. Cast Iron Barbecue says, do you think the tech guys are trying to break into the barbecue channels?
Do I think the tech guys are trying to break into the barbecue channels?
That's what he said. I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure what that means, but I can tell you right now, I am definitely a tech guy. It is my techie nerd that just spills over into what I'm doing with the cooking and stuff. I treat the cooking that I do. So I'm a design engineer. I do audio video design engineering, nerdy stuff. But I approach the cooking that I do in the exact same manner that I approach my my work, and that is I want high quality. I want to understand what we're doing, but I want high quality, and I want scalability, and I want repeatability. And I treat my cooks exactly that way, because anybody can go out there and rock that one cook one time and live the rest of their lives about that. Man, remember that one time I made out, and I'm sitting back going, I want to do that one cook, a million times. I want that. So I strive to just keep, cranking this stuff out and figuring out how to get that consistency. And it's the same thing I do in my job and my work is, how do I just the repeatability, the consistency of it. So it's all about that, knowing your ingredients, knowing your tools, knowing your cooker, all these kind of things, not just grabbing stuff, whatever. So I kind of put myself in a box, and it's the box that I know where all the edges are. I know what the ceiling height is and all that kind of stuff. And then if I need to expand that box, I'll do so in a manner where I still know where everything is. So I go pretty nerd on that. I don't know if that's what he was asking, but there you go.
You know a channel called Memory in Flight Photography?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is my hero.
I made a comment here in the chat, says, yes, you are the ultra tech ! 3 times -W.
That is Bill. We'll talk about Bill later when you ask me that later question that I've prepared for.
I'm not sure which question that is, so I'm going to go meathead question. What's your signature dish?
So I'm assuming Amy's still in the chat.
Very actively in the chat. She said that you guys will not go live cooking because it would be PG-18. And then Cooking Green Bastard Style said, what's wrong with that? Mine's PG-49.
Oh, man. She ain't lying, dude. There would be so much bleeps in that thing, it'd sound like Morse code. Woo, boy, I got a mouth. I get going. So, honey, what's my signature dish? While she's thinking of the answer, I'm going to answer this. I'm going to say the chili. My chili is a signature dish because that is a dish that it's my recipe. I created that recipe from the ground up and been working on it for a long time. So that's my signature dish. So whatever. I don't know if Amy has a different thought on that. I'm kind of glancing over the chat. I'm not sure how long that's delayed off. So we'll see what Amy says.
There's an I do too, but I don't know if that's in reference to her agreeing with you or something else in the chat. That's the thing that sucks about the signature would be pulled pork and wings, she says.
Okay, so that's fair. Most people, if you were to ask other people, they would say pulled pork in the wings. And the reason why that is because my pit's kind of small. And when I have to feed crowns, the best way to feed crowns is bang out some, well, this is going to sound bad, bang out some butts. Yo, come on down to Azrael Pit Barbecue. We're going to bang out some butts. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll do pulled pork. And I can get 4 8 to 10 pound butts on that pit, and so I can feed a fair number of people with that. And so while they're pulled and resting, I'll throw on a batch of wings, smoke those off. By the time they're ready, we're pulling the pork. Yeah. Bang out some butts. That just happened. That just happened.
See, now I think maybe we keep the chat just so I can put random hashtags out. Hashtag bang out some butts.
Oh, that was awesome.
I actually had a question prepared and I lost it after that. Okay, this is a good one. This moment we just had is going to be my answer to. So next week, Barlow and Everyday Barbecue are going to reverse hot seat me. So I don't know what the fuck they're working on to ask me, but I'm kind of scared, to be honest. But funniest thing that has happened while recording that we never saw after editing.
So as just mentioned, I'm pretty liberal in language, and I'm not sure how raw I can go here. I guess I can go.
Like I said, don't talk about donkeys and we're good.
Right. So I'm sitting here trying to make a video, and something will happen. Amy's parents live down the hill, and her dad will fire up his tractor to come do something, or something will happen, or dogs will just go ape shit or whatever, and I'll be on a roll, and I'll have my mind just really going. I'm going, and all of a sudden, what the fuck? And then boom, I'm off, and it's just beep, 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 beep. And so those are kind of the funniest stuff. One of the funniest ones, I actually still have this clip. I got completely tongue-tied. I mean, everybody has problems saying Azrael. So imagine trying to be all like, what's going on, guys? It's Chris with Azrael's Pit Barbecue. That doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue very well. You know, you can trip on that, right? And I have done so often. So there's a clip of me being just completely goofy, where I mess that up and I'm just blah, 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 and some stuff. And so Amy's sitting over at the table, and I just like to say stuff to make her laugh. And so she's sitting there, and I'm having trouble. She starts laughing, and I'm just kept going on just with mumbles and whatnot. And then I'm like, bend that ass over. So that never made it on. And somewhere along the way in some video where it was extremely late at night, we were doing a section of video that we it was just going to be the voiceover part. We weren't going to use actual video footage, and Amy comes walking through the camera butt naked, and I'm like, well, we're saving that for later. We have a lot of fun, but I do get very I mean, as you can imagine, just in this conversation, I'm pretty animated, and I'm very passionate, and you know, I can just go, you know, out of the blue. And so those are always fun moments.
So before I forget, I've been contemplating changing up this show, for lack of better words. And I got 25 of my closest YouTube friends on here, for lack of better words. Here's my concept that I'm thinking about doing is getting one of those bingo little ping pong ball things. I don't know how many numbers are in bingo. Is it like 75? Gotcha. And then having a list of 75 questions, rolling out the thing in between whilst the person's answering the question, rolling it out there and doing it. So if you guys in the chat think that's a entertaining idea, put 1, just type 1. If you think keep it the way it is, type 2. The number 2.
I actually think that's a kind of a neat idea, because it would keep it, you know, a bit random. Where it gets a little tricky is depending on who you're interviewing. It may be just completely not applicable, and you got to throw that one out or whatever. But yeah, I think that's cool. I think that'd be a neat little idea.
So that's the thing is I feel like I'm giving away cards. Meathead says 2 with the poop emoticon and 1. I'm not sure what that means.
Well,
so
apparently
one thing
everybody
I'm
likes it.
In the future is I'm going to kind of broaden the horizon of the hot seat outside of just cooking. I'm going to what I'm kind of looking at doing immediately is kind of getting like some channels that do some cooking and then kind of seeing how that goes and then kind of moving on. You know, I don't know what the right answer is to do this, but you know, we'll see how. At the end of the day, you guys know the reason for doing the hot seat is to help other channels out. You know, and I think some cross-pollination of genres, doing it the right way, obviously having some guy that pours concrete probably doesn't make a good match, but you know, there's a lot of homesteading channels that do cooking and stuff that's related to cooking. I've actually been talking to Keeping It Dutch. He said he'd do it. So just things like that. So we'll see how it works out.
I think it would be a pretty neat idea, actually. If our answer, oh, we haven't done a competition. Okay, so apparently there's a sidebar conversation going on about competition cooking.
Yeah, I don't remember who asked the question, but somebody asked if you've ever done any competition cooks.
Yeah, so I haven't done any competition cooks yet. I might. I've been told by. It's been suggested to me by a few people that I should do competition just for the experience. I've kind of looked into it. I've talked to Meathead at AmazingRibs.com about this as well, where I don't think a lot of those the main competitions, the KCBS, those competitions, Memphis ones, a lot of those cooks, Kansas City, yeah, like the KCBS, I was really getting hung on that. They'll talk about, they're not cooking in competition what they would serve their family. And they're all going for that one bite. Wow. You're banging stuff into these things. Now your backyard competitions, your smaller, smaller competitions, maybe not so much, but those kind of bigger ones. I've read interviews where Johnny Trigg, who I think is just, I would love to, I would love to have gotten to hang out with that guy one day, but Johnny Trigg, talks about, he doesn't serve that, Henry Sue, what's his name? Slap Your Mama barbecue. He's talked about how he doesn't cook that stuff at home and that kind of thing. And I want to cook barbecue that, I want to feed my friends and family, not to go get a ribbon. So I've just kind of, we were going to do a competition that was here in Nashville. And just after looking at what it was going to cost to enter this small local competition, and the different things you'd have to do and everything else, just to be able to maybe say, oh, I got this ribbon, or I was whatever at some competition. It just wasn't appealing to me. I was like, man, I'd rather put that money into good quality meat and go cook for my friends.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've done a lot of reading on that, and it's, there's a couple of people out there I think have done some competition stuff, and I don't know that the ROI is worth it if you're not doing it for fun, for lack of better words. I know a lot of these guys, it's a business.
Yeah, and I think, and that's the thing. And like I said, if I were to go do a competition like that, I wouldn't change a damn thing. I'd do exactly what I'm doing, and it is what it is. But ultimately, why would I go pay to go cook when I could do that at home, and feed my friends and family or whatnot? So other than possibly the experience of it, now what I would consider doing is, if somebody had a competition team or whatever, or said, hey, come be on our team and just help, just to have that experience of it, see what it's about. That might be interesting to do just for the experience part of it.
All right, so we're at an hour and call it 10 minutes.
Well, already.
It's been me mostly talking that's carried this through is the problem.
Well done.
That's why it went by so fast for you.
Well done.
All right, so I know you had talked about maybe wanting to have some people hop on camera with you. I don't know if you want to start that ball rolling. If the hockey games, I don't know where that's at.
What's going on with that? Well, let me just say this. Amy, let's send the boy down.
Johnny Texas Style Cuisine wants me to ask you about puckets.
I've never been to Puckett's.
What is Puckett?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I've never been there. Puckett's is like a kind of a grocery store or restaurant-y kind of place. I've never been there. I've heard of it. I've heard people say it's good. I've just never been there.
All right. What do you use to record your videos?
I do not use a DSLR. I have a Canon XA30 video camera as my primary camera. I have a smaller little Canon that I use for some B-roll type stuff. I have a GoPro that I use. That's my camera I use for looking down on the cutting board, and the one I suction cup to my microwave to look down at the stove for the chili cook. That was fun. And then I've Con D60 that we're trying to figure out how to do food porn on. So Bill, that's in the chat, Memory and Flight. I've had lots of conversations with him about the proper lenses and what kind of lenses I should look at and stuff, because I don't know anything about photography, and that's a pretty big hobby for his. And Brian Newman, who just jumped in, is a very good friend of mine from back home. Good to see him.
All right. I saw a shadow, so I didn't know if the boy had showed up or not.
He did. Slide in here, Marine.
First of all, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you.
He's still a little hoarse from 13 weeks of screaming. Just graduated on Friday.
All right, just for fun, I have a friend who is in the Army, and I'm assuming the Marines is the same way. How was the gas chamber?
Oh, the gas chamber was fun.
Oh my God, the gas chamber.
A lot of people say it was horrible, but I mean, if you just do what you're told, it's a good day. So it's not that bad.
So before he left, he was working at a car wash place, like a full service, high end kind of car wash place. And he'd come home, you know, every day he'd come home and be like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? How's your day?" What'd you say?
It was a crap day.
He's like, "It was crappy, shitty. Every day was shitty." And I'm like, "Dude, you're washing cars. I mean, come on, how bad was it? Shitty." And so I'm like, "Well, pretty soon you're going off to boot camp, and shitty day is going to be redefined for you." And so before he left, I said, "All right, I want to know when the day is that it's officially a shitty day." And so we have a calendar, and so we know what he's going to be doing, and he didn't know necessarily what order things were going to happen. So we're sitting there watching, and I'm like, "Ooh, gas chamber week! It's gas chamber week. That's going to be the shitty day." And he's like, "Man, it was awesome. Such an adrenaline rush, man. I wish I could have gone again, like with a freaking ride at Six Flags." And I'm like, "Hoorah!"
Yeah, before the gas chamber, we got to go rappelling as well, which was nice. So we got all of our rappelling classes in the morning, and then we had lunch, and then we went to the gas chamber.
After lunch?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So for the people that don't know, and if I get into asking you questions you're not supposed to talk about, just say, "Chris, shut the fuck up." I'm in this awkward thing because I've been talking to that Chris on PG-13 to damn near R. Now I'm like in this awkward, weird stage here. But kind of explain to people how that whole process works if you can or are willing to. Don't get into graphic detail because I watched a video of that before.
Oh, the process of going through the gas chamber?
Yeah.
The gas chamber is actually changed a lot from old times because of, I guess, safety reasons. And,
safety reasons.
And the Moms of America is a big movement for just military training in general. But like, so apparently from my boot camp to previous boot camps, a lot has changed. It's a lot easier now than it was. You can't just rip off masks and tell them to scream ditties, which is like things we yell for knowledge and stuff to learn for testing. So you can't do that anymore. So it's just straight up. You just pull off a mask for a certain amount of time, put it back on, learn out how to clear your mask of the gases inside of it. And I mean, if you just follow the directions and tell them and just tell them what's going on. If something's wrong, it's a good day. It's easy.
All right, so what's the best and the worst part? Best is probably not the right question, but boot camp.
The best part of boot camp, I guess. Oh, that's a hard one. There's some good days that contend with each other. Rappelling was a bunch of fun. We had range week. Range week's a bunch of fun as well. It's an easy week too because it's a low stress environment, so none of your DIs are getting onto you, and so that makes it a good week. Then the hardest is obviously the crucible. Just that it's the hardest mentally you have to go through for 72 hours.
So are you allowed to talk about what you have to do during that, or?
No, the crucible is a very tight knit thing. Even though it changes every cycle of recruits and everything, you're not supposed to talk about it. So I can just say it's mentally tough. That's all I can say. So
Fair enough.
Yeah. I tell you what, it was incredible going out to Paris Island. And when we first saw him, after not seeing him for the 13 weeks and stuff, but when we first saw him, he's in his camis and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, man, this is that punk ass kid I was telling to get off the Xbox, a few months ago. That's insane, and we're proud to bust, man. Proud to bust, brother. If you guys didn't see it, go on our channel and look in one of the vlog sections. We did an interview the day before he left. He's about 20 something pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Or 30, 20 or 30.
20 to 30.
20 to 30 pounds lighter from that video. And we talked about in that video the weight he had lost. So in total, from December of 2016 to now, he's lost over 100 pounds. And he had to lose a bunch of weight to be able to even make it to the minimum. So he was working hard months before he was even able to be allowed to sign up, which was months before he actually got to go. So he had busted his ass all the way and truly earned that title. And we were just, like I said, we're busting with pride.
So where do you go next? What's the I know I've got enough military friends to understand details are not optimal, but like how long are you home for, etc.
I leave out Monday morning, go to MCT, which is Marine Combat Training, out in Camp Geiger in North Carolina. So that's the next step.
You have to go hang out with Barlow Barbecue if you get a day off. I know that's not a thing, but
yeah. So he goes MCT, and then from there he goes to do his MOS because he's not infantry. So it's kind of a the MCT. The next training is kind of like a condensed version of what the infantry guys go through. But then he goes from there to MOS because he's going to be in more of a support role.
Booger wants to know if Chris, were you ever a Marine? Were you a Marine also?
No, I was not. When I was a kid, I had really bad asthma, and I tried to go in the Air Force. I wanted to go to the Air Force so bad, follow my dad's footsteps, and that didn't work out. I tried Navy. I was going to go Navy communications, and they said no because of my history of asthma. So, and I don't care. I am way too. I don't know. I'm not strong enough to be a Marine. I'll admit it. I'll admit it.
All right. Junior SVT says, where is the MOS school?
Oh, that's up in the air right now, isn't it?
Yeah, right now it's up in the air. So I can either do aviation ordnance or airfield services. And so for aviation, that's down in Pensacola. And then for airfield services, from there, I'll be going to one of those two locations.
Gotcha.
Yeah, at this point, the only thing you really have on your mind is what the next meal we're cooking and how you're going to lose the weight of the previous meals we cooked. We've been cooking we've been cooking
all week.
We've been wearing it out.
Yep.
Booger says she can feel how proud you are of him.
Absolutely.
All right. I feel like we can. What's that?
Looks like the stream just there's back.
It got real weird, and that happens a lot during these hot seats. Is that it'll get like wonky. I don't know if it's a connection thing or what it is. So
we're heating it up, man.
All right. So I'm assuming this is the question that you've been holding back for. If not, you're gonna have to say it's not the one, and I'm gonna have to go through the list. But who would be on your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, there it is. All right, buddy, get out of here. You bother me.
All right.
If you go to Okinawa and so I've given this a lot of thought. I know you asked everybody this one. I wanted a really good answer, and I have two answers. So I think there's the easy basic answer being, my mom, my dad, my brother, who's no longer with us, and Amy. And I thought about that, and I'm like, all right, that's an easy answer. And I got to thinking about people who have truly influenced me in my life. And so that would be a gentleman by the name of Jeff Day. He was my sensei when I was a younger kid. I used to take martial arts, had a lot of asthma problems and this kind of stuff. And he, kind of worked with me, but he was the first true positive male role model in my life. And to this day, just the fact that he would take basically a, junior high school kid, and really just talk to him like a person. He taught me a lot, man, more than just the martial arts. And so Jeff Day would be on there. And Mr. Memory and Flight, that gentleman's name is Bill Lawrence. Bill used to be my boss at the job I'm at now. He went on to another place, but Bill, over 10 years ago, we started working together, and he has taught me so much, and has through just working with him. I don't know. I think I hope everybody is fortunate enough in their lives to have someone else in their lives that just their presence makes you want to be better. And if you don't have someone in your life that's like that, you need to be that person for someone else. Well, Bill is that person for me. And he is a brother and a friend and a mentor for life, for real. The third one is going to be, I would put on there, might sound a little silly, but it's Meathead Goldwyn from AmazingRibs.com. I've never met the man. I would love to meet the man. I've had some emails back and forth with him, but his website, AmazingRibs.com, changed everything about my perception of cooking, barbecue cooking, and all that kind of stuff. If you have not gone to AmazingRibs.com and spent time in any place on that website that's not an actual recipe, go look at the techniques, go look at the stuff he talks about, the science. I mean, I'm not smart. I just remember what was on his website, and I did some independent research. It's so much information there. If you really want to up your game and get an understanding of stuff, and he really caters to the charcoal crowd, how to do 2 zones on Webers, using Smoky Mountain Webers and that kind of stuff. I've had to modify a lot of my cooks to get them to work on a reverse flow cooker like I have. And then the fourth one is still Amy. Amy is the rock. She is the anchor. She is my cheerleader. She's my partner in crime, my partner in life. And without her, forget about it, you know. So she would be the fourth, and Alton Brown would be my crazy horse.
Oh, I'm so glad you threw that in there. All right, real quick, Papa Texas hopped on here. And Papa, I sent you a message on YouTube. And I know YouTube messaging sucks, but I want to get you on the hot seat. So send me a message back. I want to get you on here. I think it'd be a fun time. And with that being said, I'm going to try to wrap this up here, but I'm going to ask my last question to Chris. Who do you want to see on the hot seat?
No, I haven't gone through all your hot seats, so I don't know who all has been here so far, but I've looked at quite a few. First and foremost, since he's partly responsible for my being here, I think Ken needs to be here. Heavy Metal BBQ. He needs to get in front of a camera more. I mean, we've seen him once, but he needs to be on here for sure. In my opinion. What's going on at my door? Hi. Heck yeah. Hang on. Wait.
As long as we don't have an active shooter, I'm happy to carry on.
There we go.
Hey, it's Amy.
This is Amy, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
This is my partner, Amy. Amy makes my sauces. She can make my rubs. She knows. Without her, shit doesn't happen. So short of busting up wood and actually running the pit,
I can bust up wood now too. But
you can bust up wood. You can run the pit. You just won't.
Right.
Yeah, this is my love of my life right here.
Yes.
So say hi, everybody. So we were talking about who I thought should be in the hot seat. And I'm saying Ken, Heavy Metal BBQ. First off, he's partly responsible for me being here, but more importantly, even though Ken won't get in front of that camera, although he really should, he did for the music tag, but I love Ken's channel. I love his innovation. I love his simple solutions to things that probably make other people spin out. I love his enthusiasm, and he's got such a positive vibe about him, man. I swear to God, somebody could probably post up on his channel and be like, you know, eat shit and die, and he'd be like, hey man, it's cool. So I would love to see Ken on here. I would like to see I love Phil and Florence. You know, my mom's family is all from South Carolina, so hearing him talk is like listening to an uncle. And
yeah, we almost took a road trip.
We did when we were down. I'll tell you a funny thing about Phil and Florence. Not funny, but an interesting thing. So apparently Phil and my mother went to the same high school in Sumter, South Carolina. And while they didn't know each other, his brother, he was a little bit younger, but his brother was close to my mom's age. And I was telling my mom about it, and she found a picture of his brother, who I believe, if I remember correctly, has passed. But she actually found a picture of him in her old high school yearbook.
That's cool.
And I just thought, I was like, that's crazy. This is like, you
Small
know,
world.
But Phil, I would love to hear Phil's thoughts on things and stuff. And he also, you know, was a bit innovative in the things that he does. It's so funny. The first time Phil commented on one of my videos once. And so anytime anybody comments or subscribes to my channel, I automatically go look and see if they actually have content or if they just have the channel to comment on videos, right? And I saw his channel, and it was relatively new. He had like a couple of videos up or something. I'm like, right on. And the next thing I knew, I'm sitting back, you know, he puts up a video, and I go look at it, and he had so many damn views and hits like that. And I'm going, damn, how many people does this guy know? And his channel just exploded, and he's well over 1,000. But I don't remember where we were, but we were somewhere, and I had my iPad out, and I was watching this video. I was like, man, I don't know what's up with this guy, Phil, but I mean, this cat like just started making videos like 2 seconds ago, and he's already got like, you know, he's getting like, you know, 50, 60 views on these videos that he just put out. In the meantime, I've got videos that have been up for 2 years that don't have 60 views on them. So I think Phil, and have you had Barlow on here?
Barlow was...
Yes, you have.
First or second? I can't remember. Either...
Brian says hello.
Big Lou Barbecue is first or Barlow is first. It's one of those two. I can't remember. We're on like episode Hey, Scott, and for the grill, we'll know what the answer is, but we're pushing 30. You may be 30. I can't remember.
How about Chef Johnny? Has he been on yet? Yes, he has. I watched that. Crap.
He was. That was the longest one of all time.
Yep. I'm going to say Ken or Phil for the moment. I am sure there is other answers, but between the two of them and Lyle, have you had No Hippie Barbecue on here?
Me and him are actually talking right now.
Okay. Yeah, Lyle too. And you know what? I should have mentioned Lyle's channel earlier. What made me actually say, okay, I'm going to do this and make some videos is TNT Barbecue commented on one of my videos once. It was the very first one I ever did. It was beef back ribs. And through his commentary, I ended up finding Lyle's channel. Lyle's another one of those cats I would love to meet in real life. He's cool. I dig, man, and he puts content out like, I'm like, dude, I don't even know how you do that. I like Lyle. It's simple. It's to the point. Boom, done. It's efficient. He's a Marine. We get it. You know, it makes sense. But there are so many videos that he puts. I'm like, oh shit, we got to do that. It's like, oh shit, I was going to make that video.
Yep. We'll have been talking about doing a video, and then we haven't gotten around to it yet. And man, a day later, his video will pop up. It's like, all right, day late, dollar short.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. He does a lot of stuff that I don't do, and but I still like watching and getting little ideas. And then he's got that multi-cooker thing, and I was like, she was talking about one, and I was like, hey, check out this video Lyle has. And I'm like, hey, he made popcorn in this thing. Hey, so I would love to see Lyle on here too. I think he would be a lot of fun.
I think Lyle will probably be 2 or 3 weeks out. Me and him are talking. So normally the hot seat is not booked until Sunday or Monday before the Thursday that it happens. And I don't know. I've actually tried harder. I don't know what the right word is. So we're booked out for a couple weeks, which is strange. I'm not used to this. Wow. A whole lot less stress in the last couple weeks.
I think you book all three of those guys. I don't think you can go wrong. I think they'd all be fun.
Yeah.
So I seen Scooter Too Cool keeps pushing the Christy or Booger live, and if I remember right, Christy said she'd do it if Booger said she'd do it. So y'all gotta figure out how we're gonna do this. All right. So I want to
thank you.
I want to thank everybody that showed up and watched. The 19 plus people who are still here. Christy, I see the emoticons. You can't get away from Booger. Do this for me. Here's the deal. I can't make it the Keith's thing this year because I got to work. Next year, I will bring you something awesome if you do the hot seat, just to spite Christy to do the hot seat. Get in contact with me. That all being said, I appreciate you guys for coming. I'm going to give Chris the last word, and we're going to get the heck off of here. And when we do, Chris, don't hit the hang up button because I want to talk to you for a minute off cam.
Right on.
So anything I just like to say, promote, etc.
Yeah, I just like to say, thanks a lot for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for everybody for watching. And I can tell you, I'm not out to bang out content like crazy, but if you subscribe to my channel and be patient, I get videos up when I can get them up, and I try to make every single one of them informative and fun to watch. And I think this is what it's all about, sharing our ideas. We're all from different places. We all have different views and, that kind of thing. And it's nice to all come together. And even if we disagree, we should be able to easily agree to disagree. It doesn't have to be any big thing. So I think it's cool. I love the concept of a community like this. And, Chris, to you personally, and I've already told you this before, but I think what you're doing is phenomenal. What you're doing for small channels is phenomenal. And, when it comes to a small channel that should be bigger. You know, I think you're what, 500 something. You should be huge, man. Your channel should definitely be larger. If for anything else, what you're doing in this community alone, you don't even have, even if you didn't make content, you know, but I think this is really great. And I hope people continue to support it and support each other. So other than that, thank you very much.
All right, real quick, Popeye left a note in the chat, but Chris is not me, Chris. That Chris is his channel description, or his channel link is in the description. Go check him out. Thank you guys, and we're gonna get out of here. See ya next Thursday. Bye.
Thanks, guys.